You got it back. It's real.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, hello. We got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to get into it. But right now, we want y'all to hear a little something that's going to take some of you all way back to the late 80s, early 90s. It is NWA, Fuck the Police. All right, I am Nitra. Let me stop the music because I ain't trying to get copyright infringements. All right, my name is Nitra. Tonight I put on there Nitra the Queen because I am the queen in everything I do, and welcome to my queendom with my kings. Okay? Okay.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
So
Oh,
my background is I'm a jack of all trade, master of sun. I am a IT program director for the Department of. I'm not telling you all of that. Okay, I am a mother of generational children. I have one that's in the Navy. She's 24. She has a baby. I have a 21-year-old son. He is in college and works part time. And I have a 13-year-old little entrepreneur that is also a honor roll student and a business owner. Okay, all right. So I'm going to hand it over to my other two kings. EJ, go ahead and start it off so we can kick this thing off.
what's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? This is your boy, Mr. Erskine EJ Alexander. I'm checking in from the great city and state of New York, y'all. I'm a licensed clinician up here, board certified practitioner, and I am also a part-time actor as well. I am a husband, I am a father, and a big shout out to my amazing wife for always keeping me grounded and keeping me focused. Oh God, it's so many things that I could say. This year, this month, what matter of fact, this past Wednesday, I made 19 years in the Department of Psychiatry at Monty's Hospital here in New York City. The Boogie Down Bronx represent for the X, even though I'm representing Atlanta tonight with a tie, but we represent for New York all the way. Big shout out to my amazing wife. Congratulations to her as well. Election Registry, 1 year. My wife is an entrepreneur, so big shout out
Woo-woo!
to her. So this is the first year anniversary of her business, Election Registry, and that's pretty much it. So again, my name is Erskine EJ Alexander, and I'm representing for New York, and we are here.
All right. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me again this week. My name's LB. I'm from right across the water from EJ over in New Jersey.
East
My
Coast.
back my background is in my bachelor's in political science. I have a master's in HR, and I've been practicing in HR for the past 16 years. So it's good to be with y'all again this weekend.
Yes, and we are all what? High school
Graduate.
classmates. Well,
Carver
yeah, we
High
graduated
School.
too.
Yeah, we
we
graduated.
did graduate. All
Yes.
right, all right. I want to just get into it before we talked about what the hell's been going on prior since last Saturday when we got off. Lawrence and I was on watching. It felt like a date night watching CNN. We was
It
FaceTiming each
was.
other
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
CNN. But before we get into that, let me tell you something about DC Mayor DC Mayor Merrill Bowser.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Now, she
Love
pulled
it.
a boss bitch move. When I say
Yes,
she
we
pulled a
did.
boss bitch move, I don't give a daggone if she had to get permission from the city and everybody had to agree on it. But the point of the matter is because it's her city. She is the mayor. It is her to claim that she pulled a boss bitch move. When I
Yeah.
say that, if for those that do not know and do not live in the great district of Washington D.C., she had painted from I think it was like 2 or 3 blocks. I think I want to say 3 blocks. Black Lives
Almost
Matter all the way that heads
to Lafayette Square. I mean Lafayette
this.
Park.
Yes. So do you see? Okay, it's 2 blocks. It's 2 blocks. The arrow pointing downwards to the left, that is the street name. The arrow pointing up and to the right, that is the wonderful White House that our ancestors built by hand, brick by brick. Was maids and servants and butlers and groundskeepers and all of that other good stuff.
Oh
That
my.
is the White House. That is not two pictures put together. That is one whole aerial picture of that area. Okay, so I tip my hat off to her for doing such a tremendous job and in your face type of job. And also they renamed one part of the street excuse me to Black Lives Matter Plaza. Okay. um Interesting question, conversation I had with another older excuse me older colleague of mine, as he posted on Facebook and said, I really hope that the group Black Lives Matter um, trademarked Black Lives Matter. And so I went, dug it up. They did trademark it at one time. However, and this is when people don't do their business. And no fault to them. It's a lot of businesses. They trademark, and because they probably don't know this part. Once you trademark, you have a few years. I want to say 5 years, and then you have to reapply to trademark again. All of the Black Lives Matters that was trademarked, they're all dead, meaning it's no longer trademarked anymore. So therefore, she was able to use that without doing any paperwork to ask for permission or to pay a fee, because there are a lot of times Coca-Cola, let's take Coca-Cola for example. Coca-Cola is not just giving up their name. You're going to pay a fee to use their name if you want to use it. However, if they come to you wanting you to showcase them, then that's another type of fee. But I did tell him, I said, well, for this particular situation, I am glad that it's no longer trademarked, because all the paperwork that goes into it, and to include the tracking of the money, would not have happened from last week to the other day when it was done. It would not have happened not that fast.
Right.
So I was really, really, really happy that it wasn't trademarked. And then I got to thinking, I said, you know what? Even though that was their foundation and stuff, do we really want that trademarked? Because all people of color, we're all Black Lives Matter. Like, do we really want it really trademarked? What do you guys think?
One of the things that when I first saw it, I don't even know if we had saw it together or I had texted you and however we got to talking about it, Nitra. It's one of those things that in the age of social media, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be careful about what you share, what you look at, because sometimes people have gotten so good at manipulating files and pictures. So when I saw that, I was like, damn, someone is creative as hell. They put Black Lives Matter on the street. Yeah. And then that morning I saw it on the news. I said, wait a minute. Did this really happen?
I thought it was a joke at first.
I did.
I'm not even going to say a lie to you guys. Yeah. I really thought it was. I didn't want to cut. I'm sorry, Lawrence, to cut you off, but go ahead.
It's okay. Mm-hmm. No. I was just saying, I was sitting and I'm like, well, damn, hold on one second. So I turned on the news, and they had the picture that Nitra showed with the unveiling of the sign. The mayor actually spoke about why she named it at that intersection. I mean, it just blew me away. And how, well, I'm sure we'll probably hear about it later, that the citizens of the district were actually cheering it on and excited and was like, great. They actually came down and sort of had a celebration.
They actually were playing Chuck Brown.
Yes, yeah.
The Godfather of Go-Go, which was perfect. It was very fitting. Yeah, my only thing is, I wish Marion Barry and all his badness was alive to see this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Marion Barry, but I'm telling you, he is DC's mayor. Okay.
Yeah. So, it really felt good. It really felt good to have in all of this darkness, right?
Yes.
It felt good to have just a moment of everybody coming together and having that celebration, even if it was just for 1 minute. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Nitra.
For 1 minute. Yeah. Right. And that's why I wanted to point out that it's not two pictures, because if you're not from DC, or you're not from DC, or you don't live in the area, you wouldn't literally think that was two pictures they put together. But baby, that was not two pictures. That was one picture. Because before you get to the White House, because everybody think you can just walk up to the White House. No, there's a whole area in between the White House and the gate, and that picture hold on, I can better show you than I can tell you. Um, there's a whole picture where the trees and stuff are. That's a whole nother block.
It
So
sure
once you
is.
get to the end of Black Lives Matter, you still got to walk a whole nother block just to get to the gate, the fence line of the Pentagon. I mean Pentagon. Jeez, I used to work there. Of, of the
White
White
House.
House. So
Mhm.
I seriously wanted to point that out to everybody because people just don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, they think they can just pull up on the White House and hey, I'm here. What's up?
Well, you can only
Not
imagine.
like in other countries. Not like in
Yeah,
other
no.
countries
No.
where it's fortified, but it's almost like if you look at
Excuse me,
I
y'all.
think it's
My asthma is
Downing.
acting up.
I think it's Downing Street over in London where the Prime Minister lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
You literally it's just off the street and you just walk up and knock on the door. But not here. But I mean, we'll talk about that later. I want to get too I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But
Right.
Yeah.
it's almost since this this whole episode has been occurring, he should not be named. Literally fortified himself. Because I think now, Nitra, if correct me if I'm wrong, that barrier that he put up now with the extensions of those fence are right on the other side of Lafayette Square. So Black Lives Matter Plaza actually goes directly into that fence into Lafayette Square, right?
Right.
Okay.
So also, I did find this little nugget too. This is actually a letter that she wrote to him, basically saying, "Stop with your foolishness." I'm not going to read the whole letter because it is kind of long. But she basically was asking for him to withdraw his extraordinary federal law enforcement and police presence from the Washington D.C. area. Okay, and then she goes on to say, "Our police and our police and incident command have clear channels of communication roles, and it is important to note that these additional unidentified units are operating outside of establishment chains of command. This multifaceted of forces can breed dangerous confusion, such as when helicopters are used in warlike tactics to frighten and disperse peaceful protesters.
Yeah.
Adding to the confusion and my concern are the units that lack identifying insignia, meaning we don't know where you from, who are you. You can just be posed. Anybody can go to a surplus basically and get police gear or military gear.
Oh yes.
So she said, and when citizens are unable to clearly identify legitimate law enforcement officers, it creates unnecessary risk for both the protesters and police officers. In fact, we found many years ago that conflict between police and citizens is reduced when law enforcement affiliation is apparent, thus identifying insignia and mandatory in Washington, D.C. The safety and freedom of the residents and visitors of the District of Columbia is paramount. My view is that law enforcement should be in place to protect the rights of American citizens, not restrict them. I appreciate your prompt consideration of this request. Sincerely, Mario Bowser, Mayor.
Wow. Wow. That
Well,
is. Go ahead. I mean, go ahead,
no,
EJ.
no. I think that's powerful because even though 45 is in Washington
I was about to say
D.C.
we do not refer him to that
Yeah,
on
I
this
had
platform.
bad language.
He should not be named.
Yeah, we 45, and we're not talking
Mhm.
about Michael Jordan from the Bulls in '93.
No.
but
Oh.
but the beautiful thing about you guys as mayor, and it's the same thing with our governor here in New York. They're not backing down. They understand the problem. They understand the issue at hand. And I think the beauty of the mayor of DC, what what took place with that, it lets the city know, it lets the community know, especially the African Americans, that we are here to back you. We don't care about him being here. We don't care about what tactics he may pull. We're going to back you. And that's the beauty of that mayor. It's very similar to the same thing here in New York City with Governor Cuomo. When the COVID thing jumped off here in New York, no, you can't just flex your muscles because you're the president. We're here. We have the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
This can't happen. And I think a lot of times when you're dealing with politics, you're dealing with politicians, and unfortunately George Kemp was a guinea pig of the whole situation. You're too busy trying to kiss up and trying to look a certain type of way.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. mayor said no.
Yeah.
And for the African Americans, for all of us as a culture, as a community, it was so beautiful to see that. To
Yes.
piggyback on what Lawrence was saying, I thought it was a joke. When I saw the picture, I
Mm-hmm.
said, is that really, really true? You know what I mean? Like did they really name a street after that? Now I'm excited to come to DC. I
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
come to DC now. Now, like I'm really
Yeah.
like I just want, even if I have to just pop in and take a picture of that and roll out, I'm with
Yeah.
that. But I just love it, and so kudos to your mayor for that.
Yeah, because there was also a clip, and I didn't get it, but there was also a clip where she was standing on the top of a building, looking down and looking at, and that's why I heard the Chuck music. She was actually looking and observing, like, yeah, this is good, like, yeah, this is good. So I was
Right.
like, between her and Mary Keisha Bottoms,
Oh yeah,
and
Keisha
what's the
Bottoms in
what's the
Atlanta,
other black female mayor?
in Chicago.
Which
God knows I don't know her
Yeah,
name.
Lightfoot.
yeah. Let me tell you something. That is like mama, auntie, and
Yeah,
grandma. I don't know
yeah,
how old Lightfoot is. I'm just going off of her gray hair.
Yeah.
You can gray
right.
actually prematurely, but I'm just saying, like, they are not with the shits. Como
They-
he is not with the shit. His
no,
brother, that interviews,
I
they
love
ain't with
it.
the shit. What
They-
I also liked about this whole foolishness and fuckery that's going on, when you got the highest ranked generals that's telling Trump that you are fucking foolish, my hat's
exactly.
off to you, sir.
Well,
When
Yeah,
you have people that have stepped down because they saw the foolishness coming,
yeah.
my hat tips out.
yeah,
It's like, you know what? I don't care what you think or what you think you can do to me. The fact of the matter
Mm.
is, this is fuckery and this is foolishness, and you need to be called out on that. But
right.
let me tell you how delusional this dude is. He is so fucking delusional. Okay?
hold it.
He says this.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I saw that. I saw
Trust
that
me,
too.
George is not looking down
No,
saying, well done. Okay?
no,
He is
never
not
would.
looking down. He
No,
might be looking down saying, I could have still been there.
Mm.
But he's definitely not saying well done to 45. And
no.
then, let me tell you how narcissistic this dude is also.
Ooh.
He thinks that he can serve two more terms. He actually thinks he can serve 10 be in office for 10 to
Well,
14 years.
well, this is when we roll into my line of work. There's a thing called narcissistic personality disorder. And for those that want to know what that word means, Donald Trump fits the description. Very he's a person that thinks everything is about him. He think that he does nothing wrong.
Mhm.
It's all about him. It's a self-centered mentality, self-centered behaviors,
Yes.
and it's a self-centered monologue that you present to people, and even in
Yes.
your mind to yourself. Let me explain something to everybody. And I said this, and we, with us being a podcast show, naturally we have to be careful with certain things that we say.
Correct.
However, I'm going to say this, and I said it a few weeks ago. I don't know what Donald Trump did as far as pre COVID-19, pre George Floyd. Maybe he did something that I didn't see. I just didn't see it.
Did something
Right?
as far as what?
It's
What you
what?
mean?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm being
I
funny. I'm
mean, yes,
seriously being
sure.
funny.
He
Oh, no,
ate
no, no,
he
no.
ate a
I'm sorry.
sandwich.
Right,
He
Now I
went to
got
the
you.
bathroom.
Okay, hold on,
He
hold on.
he went and played golf. Yeah, he did all of
Right,
those things.
right.
All right.
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on, let me finish. So you're right. He might have did something. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. The only thing
No.
he has done, he has signed the Ashanti bill into the alerts, to where if a missing person comes up, they have to fit certain criteria for the Ashanti alert to happen. He did that on Christmas Eve 2018.
Uh, 18.
Okay,
Okay, that is all he's done,
okay.
other than
We'll give
made
him
a
props for
full
that.
a mockery of that
Okay,
of the Oval Office.
okay. So this goes back to my point. So he did that. You found one thing. I couldn't find that. I don't remember that. But hey, God bless
That's
America.
only because I'm close to the situation, or was
Okay,
close
there
to
we
the
go.
situation.
There you go. Okay. So what I'm saying is, all our viewers that's watching,
Mm.
starting in January of 2020 when this whole COVID thing took off, and the way it crippled from January to February to March and up until this point now, the way it crippled our economy, the way it slowed up the education for our children, the way it's caused people to react and how they feel. If you're going to vote for Trump after all of this, what has happened and what
After
is
he
going
said it
on
was a
right
hoax. Let's
after he
not
said it
forget
was a
that.
hoax,
Then he said it was a
Lysol,
Democratic
he
hoax
said it
at
was a
that.
Democratic hoax. Then he said in a jokingly fashion, I don't care what nobody say, can it be cured with Lysol?
No,
Now
he
America,
said drink Lysol,
drink, excuse me, correct me
drink
again.
disinfectant,
Drink
and oh, by the
disinfectant.
way, if you're going to die, hold off until election time.
Okay. If you vote for someone who has said those statements, something is wrong. Something is wrong with you as a person. We can't go another 4 years with Donald Trump. And I'm going to say that. We
We
can't.
can't.
We just can't. Now, if he's a good guy for reality TV, God bless America, he does that great. Cool. But he cannot do the job as a president. And we cannot go another 4 years with him being in the White House. Look at where we are right now. Can you guys really, really see yourself going another 4 years?
Well, apparently, there are a
Lord
lot of
said, well,
people.
apparently.
Apparently, a lot of people think that he can, because a lot of people still believe that his response to COVID was spot on. His
How?
response to
The business
I
is
don't
not in.
say that
What the
again.
business at? When you say his response to COVID was spot on, how? Look
Oh,
at
I'm
the
sorry.
economy.
How can you say that with
How?
intelligence? Not you, Lawrence,
Not you, Lawrence.
but the person
Yeah.
that's saying it.
Right.
How can they say
Yeah.
that with the ounce of intelligence the size
Intelligence.
of a mustard seed?
Oh, it gotta be.
Because it's, which I think we were all alluding to, is that those individuals who think that way have that same mentality that he has, narcissistic, self-serving, or just plain out racist. But because when you ask them questions, when you ask a question to say, almost to what you said, EJ, okay, so tell me exactly what was his plan that you feel that he did a good job. You hear, you literally hear the murder hornets flying over to the US. That was a joke. Nobody got my joke.
I caught it.
I caught it. That's the Colin high school class of 95 thing. Right. I caught it.
I picked up what you was putting down.
Right, I know exactly what he was saying.
It's literally insane. It's insane. And so the one thing I think I stopped doing is trying to explain reason to people who don't want to reason with you. You will drive yourself insane. Now, I'm not saying, how you have those individuals who be like, well, I said what I said and that's it. That's shutting down the layer of communication. And I don't think that anyone is doing that. But in this point, if you're saying one thing and someone is questioning you on it, and all of a sudden you're like, what about black on black crime? What about African Americans dying higher at a rate of diabetes and heart attack? And I'm like, what? Like, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, but
at that point, that's an excuse.
It's a part of a larger tree. But at the same time, you're trying to deflect from my question, and my question to you, I will say this. I watched a video the other day, and the young lady, Yamiche Alcindor, who is the White House correspondent from PBS. One of the things, and April Ryan, who is from Urban One Radio Network, I think I said that right. So both of them being White House correspondents, and April literally was watching her from the other day when he signed some shit that he signed. And so Yamiche was actually asking him a question, and he turned to her and like, you are something else, with the nastiest vitriol look on his face. And April said she literally texted her and said, listen, you need to be careful, because the fact that he said that means that he is researching you. That right there says within itself that there are individuals in this country who are relishing and enjoying in blatant suffering. And that, now, EJ, I don't know. I'm not a mental health clinician.
Some of
but
it don't take to be a
they don't take it. That's the sad thing about it.
Well, I want to find an excuse instead of saying that there's
no. This is unfiltered, no chaser. There's no need to try to be nice about it. It is what it is.
It is what you're right. That we've gotten to a point now, and I understand there is an issue with mental health, and there is a thing when people do deal with mental health. Totally understood. But there's certain things you just can't do. And there's certain things that should not be done. You would not come to New York with a tank top on in January. You wouldn't do it.
Nope.
Well,
if you did, if you did come to New York in January, you wear a tank top outside, 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen?
Can you believe somebody walking with a tank top walking through Penn Station or
But
Grand
if you're
Central?
not from this country and you don't know the climate, you might try it.
You might try it. But
someone will be like, where are you from? Are you lost? Do you need medical attention?
They're going to back up real quick.
I think it's the latter. They're not going to ask where you're from. They're going to seek medical attention.
Nobody's doing that in New York. But
No.
But when you look at it, at this point, like you said, Nietzsche, you was able to point out one good thing that he did, or in some eyes of others that he did.
You mean the only?
The only. You found one. I give you that. Some people will take that one and roll with that one. Oh, yes, he's great because of that one. But at this point right now, and I definitely say this at this point right now, this was a terrible, terrible, terrible dropped ball with what's going on. This COVID, the economy, these children, education-wise, these kids' lives were turned upside down because you didn't make one conscious decision.
But check this out. Don't you find it eerily, creepily, for lack of better words, funny that all hell broke loose the year of elections?
Well, you know why?
This is karma and irony.
Karma, there you go. Come on,
that are punching.
All broke. Yeah. It's like when they say hell.
All hell broke. You know why?
All hell broke loose. Like who in the hell left the gate open?
Right. You know what?
I feel tired.
I feel like, and this is just my honest opinion, I feel like there was a plan in place because of the election, because there's always something in place during the election. Something strange has to happen during the election. It blew up.
Not like this.
Not like this. It blew up. It got out of hand. It's almost like we're going to light. It's almost like we're going to light a little fire. We're going to light a little fire, just a little fire, just a little fire. They didn't think it was going.
No, they try to light a firecracker and that bitch blew up in the hand.
It blew up. It blew up.
Think about this though. Think about this. The reason why Donald Trump, that guy.
You can say Trump. You can't put president with it.
Oh, okay.
You can say that.
Okay. So
don't say his name at all. Okay.
It actually made me a little pukey, but
the Great Pumpkin. That's what my friend called him. You remember the Great Pumpkin from Charlie Brown?
Yes, I do. He said initially in January, the reason why he didn't want to admit that there was a crisis or a pandemic around COVID-19 because he explicitly said he did not want it to interfere with the election results.
No, because you know why he said that? And this is just me being an asshole right about now. Because he can't go to fucking Russia and get them to start fucking with shit this time. Okay? He can't go to these other countries like he was trying to get. What was it? What country was it here recently? He was trying to get them involved in some shit.
Wasn't it Russia? It was Russia.
No, it wasn't Russia this time. It was somewhere else. But he can't do that, okay? Because he knows if he does that again this time, people are going to be like, oh, hell no. We really know you was messing with Russia.
Are you talking about the Chinese? Are you talking about the Chinese embargo?
It was somewhere. No, he was withholding supplies from them. I want to say the Ukraine. That's Russia, right?
No.
So it was somewhere. Look,
It was somewhere over there.
Yeah, it was somewhere over there. I haven't done history, geography in so long. I don't fucking know. But he
I'm not
can't.
even going to try to answer that.
He can't do that. He can't go to another country and have them infiltrate this election like he did with Russia. And I don't give a damn what he said. He had them that got them Russia.
Okay, I got you, Mitra. It popped in my head. What happened is that he sent, what's the guy that looks like Dracula? Who used to be the mayor? EJ. Shit.
The mayor of
New York.
Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah, he looked like Dracula, but
he looked like Dracula.
He looked
like he been sleeping in a cave.
Suck your blood, or maybe he's sucking something else.
Well, hello. But Trump sent him back to the Ukraine because he was withholding funds from the Ukraine because he wanted them to open up.
It was the Ukraine.
It was Ukraine because he wanted them to open up. He wanted them to open up. He wanted them to publicly say that they were investigating Hunter Biden.
Okay.
And if they didn't, he was going to withhold funds. So yeah, Nisha, I was like, wait a minute, I know this. I know this, but yeah, he's a fucking he's a
piece of work. Say it like my grandma said. He's a piece of work.
It's just I don't even have I could put as many expletives that I could or adjectives there in that word. It just won't be enough. It won't be enough. But again, how can I say this? Yes, is he a catalyst to all of this stuff? Yes. Are they looking upon him at the heel of saying like, yes, this is him, this is him, this is him? But all this stuff that's happening lately,
come on.
So.
And still, he takes no accountability.
He hasn't even given us.
He's not even being Michael Jackson to heal the fucking world right now.
Right. He's not.
You realize he did remove us from the WHO organization.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And they depend on us heavily.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so they went to the next country who provides the most funding, which is China.
Bruce want to know will he get reelected. Let me tell you something.
No.
My daughter, she's 13 now, but when that baby found out that he won the presidential votes the first time, and she said we was gonna be slaves, and I said not this group of people. I promise you, if he gets reelected this year, I'm gonna probably take off work. I mean,
I'm gonna
for a whole goddamn week. For a whole week.
I'm gonna say
and
something
I'm gonna drink
about that.
myself.
You know what? If at this point right now, just like we're all coming together, protesting, fighting, and pushing, and we know what the root of the problem is, if he gets elected after this, all this work was out the window for nothing.
And that's why I was saying, what was it for?
It's out the window.
So hold on one second.
Because
I'm gonna say this. Mm-hmm. I Lord hear me saying this. I actually think that it is a very good chance that he could be reelected. And I'm gonna tell you why.
I'm gonna take you off this show because that's negative energy.
No. Hold on.
That's negative energy, and we're all positive over here. Okay?
I didn't mean to put that energy out there. My bad.
You know what? Though, in Mr. Lawrence's defense, there's a part in my gut. And
you're gone too. That's negative energy.
I'm being honest.
Boom. We both load up.
We're gonna go solo like Bobby Brown, dog.
But shit, we all going down because I kind of feel like he will get it too. But I pray.
But at this point, that goes to show you the level of thinking. If people were to put him back in the office, look what's going on. All you gotta do is look what's going on.
But here's the thing. Now we're in a real world crisis, and he doesn't even know what the fuck to do. So if we actually went to war, okay, he wouldn't know how to handle that shit. He can't even control the shit here.
He can't control it here.
Okay, so us ever having a war, like a World War III, or just a little petty argument, okay, he wouldn't know what to do because why? He don't fucking listen to no damn body. Nobody. Every time, look, he done changed his daggone administration more than I can't even remember. Look, I don't even know who was his daggone press conference secretary.
Now she's Kayla McEnany.
She's
the 6th one.
Sean Spicer and the little white chick that was like 30 something that looked older than me.
Sarah,
Huckabee or
Huckabee
whatever.
Standard.
Yeah, he done had 50 million since. I can't keep up. I can't.
Right.
He is like a bad date. It just keep coming.
He keeps coming and won't pay, but you keep inviting him to the party.
Right.
Because you somewhat feel obligated to.
Right. Yeah. And my thing is this, all I'm saying is this. I don't knock him for being a businessman. I don't knock him. He's
not a businessman. That's what people don't understand.
He's not a business. You can't run the country like that. That's what I'm saying.
Hello,
you
sir.
You can't run the country like that.
Let's be honest. He's not even businessman because guess what? He has a board and they overrule his ass. He's not even a businessman. Well, he is not Midas because everything he touched don't turn to gold. It flops like a weak dingling, but he don't do nothing else. He has board members that make all the decisions. He is rich, and I ain't saying a millionaire or a billionaire. He is rich by name default only. He takes his name and he basically lets others use it for a fucking fee. Okay?
He's rich by assets, but not by liquidity.
Exactly. He has nothing. So don't let that fool you to think that he is this great businessman. Hell no.
Okay.
But I will say
great businessman.
He just cannot run the country. And
like my grandmother said, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
There you go. Come on.
I'm gonna say this. To the reason why I don't want to spew negative energy, but I want people to understand why I believe that it is a strong possibility that he could get reelected. Number one, we all know that media holds all of our attention spans.
That's
right?
how he got it the last time because they always focused the foolishness that he was doing. They gave him more media coverage based off of foolishness, and nobody really knew who the other candidates was.
That's number one. Number two, our presidential elections are not won by popular vote.
Electoral.
That's right.
Now that's number two. Number three, when you have the Electoral College, they're literally his attorney general. So that's Barr is literally going to the Supreme Court and helping other states in their Supreme Court, making sure that they
they're lobbying.
Yes, where they're remapping the voting districts, right? So that's one way. And then another way is like Kemp did in Georgia. Just a month before the election, you just start closing down polling stations. So now no one knows where to go. So that's why I'm saying if people are not careful and check their registration, make sure they're still registered, make sure they still know where their polling station is, check with their legislators, making sure their local legislators, making sure that they haven't,
making sure the elderly gets out and vote.
Yes, that they haven't rezoned you out of another. That actually happened to me when I lived here. When I first moved to this particular town, we were voting in one town, and so I went there, and I'm like, well, where the hell everything? And so I was driving by and someone saw the same thing, like, oh, they rezoned us and now we had to go vote this way. I never even knew. But mind you, it happens across the country. So that's why it's important for everyone, especially in this election, to make sure that they know exactly where they can vote, what the rules are, and where they can vote. It's really, really imperative. Hopefully we'll be able to keep the foot on the gas with the momentum in this. I pray that no one else gets hurt or killed or anything like that. But in this country, we found out recently about the additional guy who had the same situation as George Floyd in Tacoma. He passed in February, and they're just releasing the information now. So hopefully there won't be anything that won't take us off of the concentration of what we need to do to get this country on a semi sort of kind of track.
Right. He just cannot do the job. I totally agree with you, Lawrence. Totally.
And the doctors need to stop lying.
Who doctor? His doctor?
He has to get a physical and a mental.
How did you see it? Okay, that was hilarious. For someone who literally eats McDonald's every single day, how in the hell are you in great shape and you don't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes? How is it that we get it, but you ain't got it? Shut up. What?
And he has to get a mental eval.
All you have to do is take one look. This is where you use your eyes and just take one look at him. You tell me what's in shape about him.
His thumbs.
It's oval. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying A shape?
Yeah.
His thumbs.
His thumbs
are in shape. He tweets. Tweets.
Oh, but he probably do that.
What? Yes, thumb war.
But you know what? He probably do all his tweets in the summertime because that's when the arthritis don't kick in. The arthritis kick in when the weather started changing in the winter.
Now he gonna sit in the sauna and tweet.
Yeah, it's probably what it is with that. You know, the only thing I'm saying is he cannot do the job, and it just shows. And that's what it is. Like I said, there are people that support him. Don't
you say nothing about Bruce. Talk about his wig.
He's done a great job with the wig. He looks great with the wig.
His stylist is pretty good.
But remember, he got real mad because when he was going on the plane and it popped up.
His lace front for men.
He was mad. Somebody got killed that day. somebody got killed because they drug his ass through the street with that one.
This Bama is scared. He's scared because y'all know he went to the bunker in the White House. He was inspecting it. No, sir. Nobody. They said no president has ever inspected that bunker before.
Well, I just want to see if this light switch works. Does it work?
Hold on. Wait a minute. No. Are you talking about light switches? Oh, they turned off the lights at the White House the other night. They was all blacked out at the White House the other night.
I cannot remember a time where they literally turned the lights off so you would think that nobody was home.
Yeah.
Like it just, even that was just a symbol of his incompetence and his misconnection as being a leader of
like we're gonna see him walking down the hall.
Yeah. He got on a bathrobe. I'm going to the stove.
Like if they not, just don't answer. Don't answer.
Don't answer the door. Don't answer the door.
Look, this Halloween.
Get down, everybody, get down.
You better not say nothing.
Melania, get your ass down. So you're clicking with them damn heels again.
Right. You take the heels off.
I swear.
Oh my God.
I swear.
That's where we are now, and I think that's as the way we're coming out now. From city to city to city to city
to country
to countries, even other countries, we have.
They're doing Black Lives Matters in other countries.
They had a huge rally. They had a huge rally in Germany and in Paris the other day.
And for Germany, let me tell you something. Germany is one of the racist countries out there. They don't. If you ain't Hitler's people, blonde hair and blue eyes, they don't fuck with you. But they were saying Black Lives Matter.
Well, I think it's all ish, right? I think it's someone said that there was a resurgence to
You're right, Bruce, the whole world is watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hold on, push pin. Let me come in off of Bruce's thing real quick. The whole world is watching because when he first got into office, they was like, what the fuck is going on with you Americans? Have y'all lost y'all's fucking mind?
Yeah.
If he gets elected again, because they lost respect for us when he got elected the first time.
Right.
If he gets elected again, they ain't fucking with us. And that's just it.
They're already like
with us because they're like, y'all can't even take care of my arm look big as shit. Y'all can't even take care of this dude. And he's right there. How y'all, if you can't take care of this at home, how you gonna be able to support us abroad?
And exactly. we used to be the beacon that every single country on this earth looked to us for direction.
Yeah.
Right? If they said, like, so with us being, we almost got kicked out of the G8 with his dumb ass. But if you look at the G8, right. So and then they're sitting there saying, okay, well, we're not going to 100% look at the U.S., but you know what? The U.S. has always been the leader in making sure of human decency, you know, and spreading hope across the world and going into these other countries and helping them liberate themselves and things of this nature. So we want to look to the U.S. for that strength. Now they're like, why in the hell would we look to you? We need to look to someone else. So now they're looking at Macron from the French prime minister. They're looking at Angela Merkel, from Germany, the chancellor from Germany, which everyone is like, because she's not. I don't know if they have elections or something like that, but I know that she's not going to be chancellor again. And so they're looking at them two, literally them two, as and Trudeau in Canada. They're looking at them as the level-headed people. And it is fascinating how in 4 years, excuse my language, how in 4 years we went from sugar to shit in 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
Across the globe in everything.
But again, I say this again, when the elections came up 4 years ago, or let's just say 5 years ago, because that's when they started throwing their hats in saying that they want to run. The Republicans could have blocked his ass a long time ago.
But they weren't going to. But yes.
They wasn't going to, because why? They needed a scapegoat. So if he becomes president and we get in his ear and start getting him to dismantle everything that Obama has done, or things that we did not like that was in place, we had a scapegoat to basically say, oh, it was him. He didn't know anything about politics. It was him. This and that and the other. But what happened is he went rogue on them. He got out of control. They couldn't control him like a puppet. Okay? So when you have somebody like this is your fault, Republicans.
Yep.
This is absolutely your fault, because
they kicking
when he didn't turn in his tax records, which was something that was supposed to be done prior to him even being in the nomination.
Every single president has done it before.
He didn't do it, but you let him harp on some bullshit about Hillary Clinton. I don't give a shit if the shit was true or not. You let him harp on that. You didn't let him do what he was supposed to do as far as applying. So therefore, because you didn't turn in your tax records, you didn't fully apply for that office. Now this Bama done went rogue on you in the office. Yep. You can't control him, and then some of y'all too damn scared to stand up to him. Because you don't want to lose your job. Yes, the Republicans.
I'm going to say the Republicans got two. They got two things. They got two things, to your point, Nitra. And it's almost like, we're going to put you as a figurehead. You're really not going to do anything. We're going to put you as a figurehead because we want two things done. If you remember, with the ACA, it had some tax implications, right? And so when Obama was in office, there were a lot of tax credits that sort of went away for the ultra rich, and they really funneled down through the middle class. Well, trickled down to the middle class, right? So the two things that they wanted to make sure that they got done is, one, they wanted to repeal those tax cuts for the middle class. So because they were losing way more money. That's number one. Number two, they got Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. Right. So no matter whatever happens now, that's why I'm like, I need everyone to please send prayers for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We need her here, please, because I know my sister friend, she's been sick. She's been having so many different surgeries. But if something happens and we lose another Supreme Court justice, and this president with that fuckface McConnell, if they get an opportunity to place one more Supreme Court judge, it could literally unravel women's rights, gay rights, civil rights, Voting Rights Act, and it just unravel into 5,000 little pieces. So, and then it would be that's when I get really, really concerned, because then voting really wouldn't matter. Because then you would still have those individuals that would take it to the higher court. Remember, no one in this country, I'm using this as an example, no one in this country voted overwhelmingly to have gay marriage, but that was something that was enacted from the Supreme Court. So you see, the Supreme Court also make laws as well. So it's a whole lot more of a larger picture when I say that he didn't even realize he was being used as a puppet, because as EJ said, he's so full of himself.
Yeah.
He's so full of himself, and he literally thinks that he's Einstein and Aristotle and everybody else. Everybody's dumb. He's the smartest man alive, and therefore I know what's right. But at the same time, if he said, and I'll shut up. At the same time, while he was telling us that COVID-19 was a hoax, why was he getting tested? I'm just saying. Why would you get tested? Why would you get tested for something that's fake?
Facts.
Maybe he wanted something shoved in his nose.
And that's my point. Like, you have these...
Because I would not want that shit shoved in my nose. Have you seen the pictures on how they test
I heard.
Oh, hell no. I don't want that shoved in my nose.
No, you're not shoving
as small as that Q-tip is, you
no,
I have had the COVID-19 test. It is 2 seconds of annoying as hell, and then you move on.
No,
with your
that
day.
Don't look like annoying. That looks like gutter wrench disgust. Oh my God, no!
It's not the damn plumber going in there making sure your pipe is clean.
I don't know. I've seen the pictures, and I've seen somebody take it. Somebody recorded it.
I am telling you, as someone who took it, that it was not bad.
She probably had little hands too, and said, "Okay, Lawrence, let me check." She was probably 4'11" with some little hands.
Yeah, little hands.
But that's why I want people. That's where I'm like, you're so set in your racism, in your institutionalized racism, to fuck everyone else. I'm only thinking for myself, but you didn't even realize that this man told you on national TV that it is a hoax, but everybody in the White House gets tested every, I think it said every week or every 2 weeks or something like that.
It's
and I'm sitting here like,
and their test comes back in 24 hours.
And I'm like, do you not hear this? Like, I feel like sometimes I'm listening to him and I'm listening to everybody else. I'm like, am I crazy? Like,
it'll make you think you're in the Twilight Zone.
Okay, that one. That's a better one. That's a better one. The Twilight Zone.
Lawrence, I totally agree with you 1,000%.
Me too.
That's a lot.
That's 1,000. 1,000. It's really more than that. But 1,000. If people cannot see that,
Bruce is on the petty bus today.
I see this. Yes.
Don't forget, you must drink some also.
Lysol. And I'm gonna tell you, why is that no cute? So
just wash your hands.
But that goes to show you, and I was explaining this to my wife earlier. A child, like you said, Nisha, your child, my child, you have a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, and I have a going on 12-year-old. The 12-year-old and the 13-year-old has just as much understanding of the foolishness that they're living through as they're paying attention.
That's because they have parents that pay attention and tell them. Not all 12 and 13-year-olds are alike.
You're right, but at the end of the day, it's so heavy that even the kid that's not paying attention, you're forced to pay attention because the schools are turned upside down.
I think I was getting ready to say why. I think if the schools weren't closed and everything else was happening, I don't think it would have affected the kids as much. But I don't think, as a mental health person, I'm sure that you're going to be having some cases, coming out of the Bronx that, these kids' lives have been turned upside down. I'm not even talking about the parents who ain't even used to seeing their kids all day long.
The children. I'm going to tell you guys something. There's been a heavy increase in my workload since all this been going on. And my partner who I work with, she had already said, EJ, buckle up because we're about to go for a ride, and it's so true. I want to share with our viewers tonight that since the George Floyd situation, there's been a high increase in Black African American males coming to therapy. And it wasn't just the males. We're talking the mothers pushing for their sons. Their sons are 12, 13, 14, 15. Even Black men are calling and reaching out for therapy. So this week alone, I have provided therapy for a tremendous amount of Black men, tremendous amount of Black young teenage boys because of the anxiety. It's an anxiety. It's a level of confusion. It's already a level of adjustment due to the COVID-19 situation. Yeah. So now we got this going on.
Yeah.
So It has been so. I put on Facebook earlier this week. Caseworkers, social workers, psychotherapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health clinicians in any field of mental health, we are going through the roof. I can only imagine what it's going to be like when this does calm down and the holidays roll around, when we're automatically heavy in business anyway. But what happens when we have to relive this stuff around the holidays when our loved ones are not here or we
And
lost our loved ones to the
that's when
pandemic?
suicide is high, and depression and
Yes.
Absolutely,
anxiety is the
absolutely.
highest around the holidays.
Absolutely,
You know.
absolutely. Tiffany Haddish attended George Floyd's funeral in Minneapolis, and she caught some backlash. I met Tiffany. I think
So
she's
Ludacris and Kevin Hart was there too.
right. Ludacris, Ti, Tiffany Haddish, and Kevin Hart. So all of them were there.
Mayweather paid for the funeral.
Right. Okay. So they all were there. So I don't know what happened with Ludacris, T.I., and Kevin Hart, but Tiffany Haddish, she and I were Facebook friends. She put on her page that she caught backlash.
Why?
People tried to sign her name for going. She really didn't go into detail, but it was just saying, well, why waste your time going or something along those lines. But anyway, negative energy. So I responded back to her page, which I hope she'll see. Well, she'll probably see it. Explaining that what she did was phenomenal. It should have been more celebrities there. It should have been the Diddy's. It should have been the Oprahs. It should have been all the high-powered figure celebrities. They should have swamped Minneapolis. Because this situation with George Floyd, we have been fighting for 400 years.
Yeah.
400 years. And even though America was already angry because of the businesses and everything getting slowed up because of COVID-19, the situation with the cop, with George Floyd, enough was enough.
And I think that's what people need to understand. It's not because everybody's, oh my God, we're protesting because of George Floyd. It's not because he died. It's the point that enough was enough. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And on top of that, we've been locked up in our houses. We got frustration.
Yes.
We got to take it out. Yes. And seeing him being murdered, not hearing he got murdered, but literally seeing him being murdered and calling out for his mama.
Yes.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
It's literally the example of what happens when you open up Pandora's box.
Yes.
And all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. But it doesn't take away from the Tamir Rice and the Trayvon Martin. Trayvon Martin. It doesn't take away from all of those guys. And Breonna, I don't know her last name.
Breonna Taylor.
Okay, I was about to say I was thinking Tatiana Taylor, but I knew it was Breonna.
Tatiana.
It doesn't take away any of those babies' life. Okay, but that was the straw. You got us up in these houses. There's no vaccination. You're saying we got curfews. We got to wear gloves. We got to wear masks on our face. We can't go nowhere. We can't enjoy life. We're cooped up in the house with abusive people. We can't go to work. We don't have a job. Some of us don't have a job anymore. I gotta help kids with homework with some shit that I could barely do when I was in school. Now I gotta teach my kid how to do. And to see that man die the way he died, and I don't care what what's that fool's name?
Owens.
Candace Owens said. I don't care what kind of rap sheet she got and read off all of the things that she said that he did. It still does not mean that you kill somebody in that manner. Point blank, period. That man was handcuffed and on his stomach. What the hell he gonna do? Handcuffed and on his stomach. In the street. Not on the curve. Not on the sidewalk.
And then you hear all the time. But all he had to do was comply. He would live. All he would have to do was comply, and he would live. All he had to do was comply. And I think that was the point where, to Nitra's point, this isn't the first time that someone has died that we've seen on video. This isn't the first. Right.
The one that was Eric Gardner that was selling the cigarettes.
Yes.
Shit that way. Look, let me tell y'all right now. Everybody know that the corner store used to sell cigarettes in that cheap little paper cup for 15 cents back in the day.
It was 5 cents from where I was.
Well, I'm just saying,
On the east
5
side of
cents,
Columbus.
15 cents.
I
I know
mean,
in
excuse me,
East Carbon Heights,
uptown.
it was anywhere
Mhm.
between 5 cents to 15 cents, depending on what kind you wanted.
Yep.
Listen here. The man
But
was doing some shit that he used to do back in the day, regardless if it was illegal or not. Again, you don't strangle somebody and kill them and then be like, oh, I didn't even know my own strength. You know your strength. You
Well, see,
know when
again, it
your
wasn't.
arm is crushing your esophagus.
Right.
You're not fearing for your life when you got somebody in a damn chokehold like you on WWE. You're not fearing for your life when everybody's pinning him down and you got them in a chokehold. You're not fearing for your life. But let some little white boy that got Nazi shit and got a whole agenda on how to kill somebody.
I think he's hungry. We're going to take him to go get a hamburger.
There you go. Shoot up a school or a church.
In a church.
Okay.
Go up in a church. Yeah.
You go and have Bible study.
And they invited him in.
And then you kill everybody.
Because
then
that
we'll
is
take
what
you to
we
Burger
do.
King afterwards.
But think about this. That is what we do.
Before he go to jail.
That is what we do as a black people, right? That is what we do as a people.
And I don't want to hear about black people killing black people either. Stop that bullshit. No, I don't want to hear that no more. We're talking about how people of other races, particularly the Caucasian persuasion, take the law literally into their own hands. Let me just tell you this, what I found out today. Ahmaud Arbery.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know he was hit by one of those trucks
before
they even started shooting at him?
They hit him first with the truck.
They hit him with the truck. That is why he staggered. If you go back to the video, he staggered from the left side to the right side. That's when the son jumped off the truck and they got to fighting. That's why he staggered. Because I always said, well, why did he stagger to the other side? And then they hit that man first with that truck. Everybody know how, and that was an old pickup truck, so you know that was.
Oh, it was 100% metal.
Yeah, they hit him first with the vehicle. So, okay, let me change the subject just a little bit.
Sure.
I don't watch football. Okay.
I
don't have a team, and a damn show ain't supporting no damn Washington Redskins because the owner is racist as hell. And I don't like the fact that they're called the Redskins because it would be a different story if we called them the Washington Peckerwoods or the Washington Crackers or any other racial mean-spirited thing.
And they said that was offensive when they did that. I don't know if you saw that shirt in DC.
They keep Native Americans keep telling them that it's offensive and please change it. Okay. Yep. But what do y'all think about Roger Goodell talking about? Now I understand what Colin Kaepernick was saying.
We don't want to hear it.
I call bullshit on that because my thing is now if you understand,
I know I'm a football guy.
If you understand what he was there doing, his silent protest, and that a veteran told him the significance of taking a knee versus sitting down. Okay, if you understand that now. Are you gonna let him back in the NFL and take that black ball off of him and give him the pay that he deserves?
Yeah, let me comment on that. Roger Goodell is commenting now because
Jay-Z sitting over there.
No, not at all. Because Jay-Z didn't help the issue either. Because when Jay-Z had that meeting, Jay-Z should have had Colin Kaepernick with him. So that meeting went out the window. That meeting doesn't mean nothing. What I'm saying is we made so much noise as a culture that he was forced to look. Because right now, black folks, we are tired and we are here. I mean, we are coming with it. When we got that kind of energy, when we have that kind of force, very similar to the same force and energy that we had when Obama was voting, people will listen.
Honestly, I think we got more energy now.
Oh, we got more energy now. Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's it. I don't think that's it at all.
You want me to tell you why?
Go ahead.
We're out in the front, but we do have some white people behind us.
I'm sorry. I was talking about all of these different companies that are now trying to have this wokeness statement, right?
You know why?
Why are you having this?
No, no,
But
I'm gonna
why are
tell you
you
No,
why.
no,
having this
I want to
wokeness
say no, no,
statement
let me
I
get
don't
now?
it.
think
Go
it's.
ahead,
I
go
Let me
ahead.
don't
get it.
think.
Hold on,
I
hold on,
don't
hold
think
on,
it's a
hold on. Let me
wokeness
get it.
statement.
No,
I
no,
don't.
we
I
gotta go.
honestly
No,
don't
no,
think some of it is wokeness. I
no,
think
no. I'm
they
gonna tell you
feel
why.
comfortable in
Nope,
saying it without getting backlash. Because
nope.
guess what?
That's not it.
Walmart's ass still ain't said nothing about Black Lives
Okay.
Matter, and all of
What?
y'all black people like shopping at Walmart. I do
Okay.
not, and Sam's, because they
I
are a racist family.
okay. I'm gonna say this. What's the best? What did I say last week on our show? The best
I
way.
agree with you, Bruce.
What is it? I think we have more outspoken professional athletes than we had before. Right. But I'm gonna pick you out of that. The reason why we're making so much noise, we're making so much noise, we're making so much
Excuse
noise, we're
me.
taking so much noise, we're making so much noise. The thing is, white people are starting to feel it. They're feeling it in their pockets. They're feeling it in their pockets.
Yes. Lawrence,
When
didn't
you
we
no,
just
no,
say that
hold on.
last
We just hold on,
weekend?
hold on. Okay, yeah, we talked about.
Just
I
said
No,
it.
no,
said
no,
that last
no.
week.
I'm talking about
No,
me
no,
and
hold on.
Lawrence's
Hold
date
on.
last week. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so hold on, let me finish. So they're feeling it in their pockets. They're losing money. You know, and I know who runs that when it comes to economics, right? Roger
Yes.
Goodell. Roger Goodell knew he could have fixed this a long time ago, but nobody took it seriously. So now that there's
Or
money,
held him accountable.
or held them accountable. Now that they know that there's money that the NFL is definitely going to lose this time around. One, two, people are streaming. They're tired. They're tired. And the thing is, guess what? NFL ain't going on this season.
Oh, oh,
So
oh,
Oh,
you think
that's
about it.
oh,
right. They're not. So
Right.
I feel
oh,
So
bad
oh,
for
so
those
so
first picks
so
in them
oh,
yes.
drafts.
oh,
Mhm.
oh, oh,
So
oh,
now
oh.
you feel it. So now you feel it in your pockets. You feel it in your pockets. The thing is with Roger Goodell, and I'm going to say this, nothing against the man, but when Colin Kaepernick did what he did, and nobody paid him any bit of attention, now you think about what is it, 6 years later, 5 or 6. This man
It's only
worked
been four.
hard. 4 years. Okay, I'm
See, I don't
sorry.
even watch football, but I know key
It was
stuff.
4 years. It's been
Yeah,
4 years. Okay,
it's been 4
okay.
years.
You think about it. This young man, who worked hard to get to the NFL to live out his childhood dream, to have it snatched away because I wanted to do the right thing. I want to do. I want to stand for something. They snatched that right away. Look at what's happening now. And the people are joining in because they feel it in their pockets. The NFL is going to lose a tremendous amount of money. And before we go into that, after you say your
Wait a
part,
minute.
Lawrence.
What?
After you say your part, Lawrence, I want to go
Yes,
into Drew
yes.
Brees. You know I want to go to Drew
Okay.
Brees.
I'm gonna segue to this. I'll make it very quick, and then I'll let you talk about Breeze.
Okay.
All of this is stipulated around one thing. All of it is interconnected,
What
and
is
it
it?
has
What is it?
everything to do. You listening?
I'm
You know,
listening.
you
I'm listening.
Yes.
it has everything to do with authority.
Yes.
That's it. Bottom line.
Mhm.
Goodell could have said something. You're absolutely
Mhm.
right. But because that person that shall not be named started losing his mind, then he physically changed the narrative and said that he was kneeling for kneeling against the military. I think the military and the flag that got all the other. I don't want to call people derogatory names. The all the other people enraged, and then you start looking at the owners who are all white, right?
Right.
They said we have to set an example that he is not going to have us lose any money. So what he did, they made an example with Roger Goodell's approval. They made an example of Colin Kaepernick and blackballed the hell out of him, and then sent a message to everyone else. If you do this shit, the same thing is going to happen to you. And that's exactly what they did with lynching. Is exactly what the police are doing. Well, hopefully they'll be able to change it. But that's what I mean. So Goodell's coming out now. Hopefully that these people who are rioting and looting won't burn their shit down to the ground either.
That's right.
That's what that is.
That's right.
Oh, please, please, please stop. Oh, please, I love everybody. Don't do it.
Because you
Don't
know
come to my.
why?
But
Because you know why?
I honestly believe
There
that
you
what
go.
you said, Lawrence and Erskine. But I also believe they feel more comfortable saying it because they don't want to lose business, not because they don't
Yes,
want people looting, but they
Well,
feel
there goes right.
comfortable with being able to speak their truth. Because you got to realize certain white people. they're not gonna speak their truth when money is involved. And that's just facts. They're not, because guess what? They don't want to lose that white dollar. But I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of businesses out here that's saying, I'm tired, I stand with you, and this is no more. You got people quitting their jobs.
Yes.
In a time like that right now, you have people literally quitting their jobs when they feel like the place that they work is not helping them. They rather go hungry and everything else than to work for a racist company. You understand what I'm saying? So like I said, when Lawrence and I was FaceTiming after we got off the show last week, we was both watching CNN. I don't watch TV like that.
I don't even know how we got on it.
I don't know how we got on it either. But when I tell you, we said last week on the show that, black people, I hate to see when black people tear up their own shit, because it reminds me of A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. When Brandy fucked up her damn house, and then you got to go back and sit in it. I hate when black people tear up their communities, and then they got to go back and sit in it. But we also said, and I think it was collectively all of us, why don't they go to some of these other neighborhoods and fuck up their shit? And I be damned. Last week
we were watching
CNN, and we was in Philly or Pittsburgh? I think we was in Philly. And Lawrence was like, "Oh, I know where that's at. This is about rich people."
Yeah.
We saw.
Same thing with New York City. Same thing with New York.
We went from Lawrence and I last week. We was in Philly for a second. We went to LA for a second. We was in DC for a second. We was in Houston for a second. Like we was like, it was like bananas.
And they were hitting Dolce and Gabbana. Party Express. They were hitting
Starbucks. Now leave Starbucks alone. Starbucks,
okay, please.
I will say, not because I like their coffee, but I did a paper on Starbucks when I was in college. Starbucks does a lot of
stuff. They do
good stuff
in the community.
In the community, and they treat their part-time employees and their full-time employees the same. The only difference is the hours. You get money to go to school part-time. You get money to go to school full-time. You get benefits. So I was like, hey, wait a minute, you messing up the goddamn store now. But that's just like Tom's Shoes. Tom's Shoes do a lot of stuff too. But anyway,
they do.
But it was funny because we legit just had that conversation.
And to watch it unfold.
But to actually watch that shit go down, it was like, oh my God, did you see that? Oh, did you see that? And look at that. Hold on. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was like Lawrence and I was one. Because every time Lawrence would think something, he wouldn't verbalize it, but I would say it out loud. And then Lawrence was like, bitch, if you don't get out my damn head.
I was like, what the hell?
It was every single thing. We was like,
it was about almost an hour. Yeah. They just kept going to different. They just kept going to different places, and then that next day, the whole voice changed to, oh, these people are bad. We have to protect property. And I'm like, well, who the hell was there protecting George Floyd? Who was there protecting Breonna Taylor? Who was there protecting Ahmaud Arbery?
When you came to her house while she sleep.
And we are tired.
And we're tired.
Who protected her? But please don't burn down Target. Please don't. But don't worry about that poor black man that they done chased down the street and killed. Don't worry about him. Right. But I need Target.
Or you still can't. Let me tell you something. Let's go back and.
I ain't forgot about you, EJ, with your Drew Brees. I ain't forgot about you.
Okay, I'm gonna say this one thing. We're gonna talk about Drew Brees. Let's go back to history.
All right.
I want y'all to watch the documentary of Emmett Till.
No.
And as his mom spoke, when I tell you, I was legit crying.
It is the most painful thing I've ever watched.
Crying, watching that documentary. Yes. To hear his mother that didn't want him to go down there. Point blank, period. Okay? But she let him go anyway.
Yep.
Okay? To find out that this young man had a lisp.
Yeah.
Okay? For the white lady to be on her dying bed decades later and said, I lied, and she still ain't held accountable. Oh, yeah, we got Bill Cosby sitting up in jail with his old ass.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say that about Bill Cosby.
Hold on, I'm not saying listen here. I think he was doing some drugging and drinking and everything else.
That's the only problem. That's the only difference.
I think, come
Only
on now. You
difference
don't go
is
to no man's hotel at no 2:00 in the morning and talk about you want to play goddamn dominoes. You don't.
Hey, it could have been a good game.
It could have been a good game.
Butt ass naked. Bro,
Hey!
if I show up at your house at some 2-something in the morning, we ain't playing dominoes. We gonna play doctor.
Is. It's gonna be black 6 on the table, baby.
We playing doctor, okay? I'm telling you what's good. We're not doing all of that, okay? I'm telling you what's good. You don't show up at no man's house, just like Mike Tyson when that chick said she raped him. Baby, you took out your whole nasty ass tampon. There was a phone in the room. You could have called the security and said, "Hey, he won't let me out this bathroom." But you knew what time it was. You took out your tampon. You wanted to have sex with the greatest boxer in the United States. So you
go
can
and tell all your friends.
to go back and tell your goddamn friends about. Okay, and this shit didn't play out like that. Okay,
Right.
But let's go back to Breeze with his damn foolishness and fuckery too.
Hi, everybody, and guys. So here we go. So Mr. Drew Brees said he found it disrespectful for Colin Kaepernick or anybody taking a knee because it disrespects the flag. It disrespects the flag, not the military, but the flag. And he caught a whole lot of outrage, a whole lot of backlash from everybody in the NFL as well as everybody in America. He comes back and he apologized. He said, listen, I didn't understand. I wasn't, I should have kept my mouth shut. I should have got more education on the matter. That's right, Drew. You should have got more education on the matter. You should have shut the hell up. That's what you should have did. So because of that statement, that lets us further know. Mind you, let's take a few steps back. You play for the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints is in the South.
I know. And
where
in one of the blackest damn cities there is. In
the blackest cities, but they also have the Confederate flag all over, right? So you're very aware of what's going on.
Hold on. You're literally in the birthplace of slavery for the France coming in through the U.S. There's literally a market called the slave market, literally in the French Quarter.
And they probably have picnics there all the time, too.
Exactly.
What a picnic is.
So
you know what the origination of picnic is.
Yes,
of course.
I do.
So with that statement, it goes to show you how slow he is. He's slow. Maybe I could have picked a better word. But first of all.
Well, you can't say retarded because that's not politically correct.
Right, that's not. So let's backtrack. Let me say, he knows what's going on. He stuck his mouth out there and said something that he should have got more facts on.
See, you're giving them way too much credit.
That's why people shouldn't be singing the Star Spangled Banner. Do your history on that. Let's go back to the second.
That's why they won't ever play.
The second verse.
They don't play the second verse.
The second verse to that poem that was set to music in 1950.
Right.
That's why I said they won't play it. That's why I said they won't play the second verse. They won't play it. Yeah, it's bad. Go ahead, Eric.
Horrible.
Okay. So with that being said, is that he just dug himself into a hole that he's gonna catch hell trying to get out of. Because at the end of the day, you have primarily African American football players, all in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Angry, extremely angry, extremely upset. Your defensive linemen, your offensive line, they are pissed.
Wait a minute, did he get tackled? I don't watch.
No, he's the quarterback.
He's the quarterback.
So they don't have to cover him, right? They don't have to cover him, right?
Oh no, they're supposed to cover him.
Listen. I need you to pick up what I'm putting down. They don't have to cover him, right? Because you're supposed to cover the quarterback. Run interference. Wait a minute. I don't watch football. I'm learning on the fly. When the man puts his hands up under the man's penis and they catch the ball.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I said it. And then he takes a step back and then he throws. They're supposed to run interference so he can be able to throw the ball, right?
Correct.
This is in theory.
All right.
Yes.
So what if they just don't run interference and they said, "Oh, fuck that"?
Well, that is going to happen.
That could happen. And wait a minute. And it has happened in the past.
To him?
Oh no, not to him, but no.
Michael Vick. It happened to Michael Vick.
Yeah, remember
Michael,
hearing that. Again, I don't
yeah,
watch football, but
yeah,
I know key
key
players.
pieces.
Key
yeah.
pieces. I do
Yeah.
watch ESPN sometimes just so I can have a conversation, if
Oh,
it
okay.
ever comes
That's
up,
very nice.
I'm
Yeah.
There,
just saying,
yeah, there was
uh,
there was, even in the NFL, they've always stated how white people were they had favorites. They had favorites. They had what's my word? What's my word? Whites privilege.
privilege.
Right, there we go. White
Privilege.
privilege. Michael Vick used to complain about it all the time. He would get hit. There's certain times that you can hit a quarterback, and there's certain times you're not supposed to hit a quarterback. Michael Vick would not get certain calls after getting hit. Tom Brady
Mm-hmm.
never had that problem. Drew Brees, one
Nope.
of the favorites, never had that problem.
Nope.
I'm trying to think. Tom Brady and Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger raped a
Yep.
girl, and no one said nothing. He never had any problems.
What's the
I
guy from
think.
the Browns? Johnny something. Johnny, the
Oh,
Cleveland Browns.
he got kicked out. He got crazy. He
Yeah.
got booted out. But basically, what Drew Brees did this time around is that he stuck his foot in his mouth. He should have shut up. That's the only out of that apology, of everything that he said with that apology. The best thing he could have done was be quiet. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. You don't see any of the other quarterbacks or the other quarterbacks talking about it. You don't hear Tom Brady talking about it. They're aware of what's going on, but this is the time where you just shh, shh. And the great words to Killer Mike, hush.
But see, you know what? The reason why I say I think you're giving them way too much credit is because people know exactly. I'm taking
They
this
know what
out
they
of Drew
saying.
Brees for a second, and I'm thinking about the individuals who say something, but then they wait to see how the reaction is going to be, or they
Yes,
say something and they don't anticipate if there's going to be any backlash.
that's just like
Then when there's
H&M.
yes,
Remember when
with
they had
the
the monkey
model,
shirt? Yeah,
yes,
they do
yes,
shit to see if they can. It's like this. I tell people all the time. People only do what you allow them to do to you.
yes, yes,
Okay, if
yeah.
all they're gonna do is take an inch, take an inch, take an inch. Like my grandmother say, I give you an inch, you take a yard. I'm gonna do what I want to do,
Yep.
little by little, to see if I get a reaction out of you.
Yes.
If you don't react, regardless if it's
Then I'm gonna
accordingly
do a little bit
or
more.
not, then I'm gonna do it a little more until it is.
Yes.
Then it's gonna be boom. It's all in
Yeah.
your face, and then you're gonna be sitting there
Yeah.
looking like, what just happened? No, you knew that he was racist. You knew he was saying little subliminal things. You just wasn't trying to say anything.
You consciously made that statement, and so this is why I, even though I never could stand him either way. What's the guy? Or from England, from New England.
Tom Brady.
That one.
Well, he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now.
But the one thing I will say about Tom Brady, when Tom Brady said, "I'm going down because I'm going to see my president, and that's what we do, and they need to," he, at least when he made his statement, he stood right behind it 100%. I can deal with those. I can deal with that. Tom Brady said from Jump Street.
But I
this
think
is what I
that
do.
was also because of tradition. They win the Super Bowl, they take their ass to the damn White House that black people built and worked in.
That is true,
Yeah.
but Tom Brady made. But Tom Brady was making that statement because they were trying to get the team not to go together because a lot of the black players from New England didn't want to go.
But would you want to go somewhere where you know you're not really welcomed?
And why would you want to be with someone who knows that this person is treating you sort of way, but you're going to go there as an acceptance? So that's where he was saying that in response to them.
They work together where you had to see them. That's a choice. That's free will. I don't have to go if I don't want to. That's just like if I thought my supervisor was some kind of way, I would just go see him when need be, I would stay away from. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have to, regardless if it's tradition or not. You don't have to go to the White House just because you did your job, which was playing football.
But we have to show a unified front. That's going to look bad for the team. That's going to look bad for the team.
It's going to look bad for the team. Right.
So what?
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah. We're supposed to be the team.
I'm saying this because this is exactly the cataclysm that is the America right now. Because it's very hard for non-minorities in this country to stand up on their own. So when you have these white allies now who are, there is an organization, I think that's based out of LA called white people for Black lives. Again, I thought it was fake. I said, nobody makes up this crazy shit. There's no, and it's an actual organization.
Yeah.
And they have been doing work for a couple of years now, fighting for incarcerated minorities in LA County. So we need to celebrate. I don't want to say celebrate.
Jesus, I just spilled some liquor. Okay, I'm okay. I found
Keep
what
going.
I got. No, keep going. I found what I wanted, and I got excited.
She just said,
She got excited.
I did. Hold on.
So the thing about it is that when we look at how America reacts as a whole, we all react into groups. But I think what everyone is saying, what Obama said in his statement to the country the other day, is that there's a difference in these protests than any other protest in history, because it is literally a cross section of so many ages and race. I hate to say race, ages and ethnicities in this country that has never happened before. That is the change that we need to see, and that is the thing that is going to happen. But until then, people are still going to try and test it. You still, the same way. I'll give you another example. The same way, I think me and Nietzsche was talking about this, because I think me and her both said, we're talking about the guy, the 75-year-old man that the Buffalo police pushed down. I think we both said, oh my God, I literally saw my grandfather, even though the man is white. We both said we literally saw our grandfather hit that ground, and to watch the policeman just bulldoze him right over, it hit something to my spirit.
Right.
Go ahead, Nisha. I'm sorry.
No, I was agreeing. We both said that. But what I found out also, and I don't know if this part was true or not, where they fired the 2 police officers. It was only one police officer that pushed him. The other one tried to pick him up, and the one that pushed him took the one that tried to pick him up and said, "No, come on, let's go."
Yeah.
But they was literally saying that the older man was an aggregator. I think I'm saying that right. He was
agitator.
Agitator. He was literally just messing with them. Saying derogatory things. That is why he got pushed. Now, again,
they said he was an agitator. Wait a minute, you're right. They said he was an agitator, but in the initial report that they filled out, they said that he tripped and fell. It was only until the video came to light.
He was bleeding, and he was bleeding out his ear too.
Right. I mean, it was instant. He started bleeding. Yep. And then they attacked the other guy who was standing on the side, who tried to come and help him.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that the aftermath of that right now. So they fired the 2 cops. They arrested them for 2nd-degree assault. And 52 of the other officers that was on the emergency response team quit.
Yep.
Now think about it. That wasn't black on black crime. That was white on white crime.
Right. Well, see, that's where the 2 are separate. We got Black Lives Matter we're talking about when we're thinking about the black people, but we're also talking about police brutality. So we're running with two, as a whole, we're running with 2 separate lanes. But we're doing it as a whole, but it's still 2 separate lanes. Cops need to be trained.
You can't train racism out of someone.
You're right, but at the same token, you have a white person that will turn around and say, "Well, was that racist that white cop pushed that white man?"
It was.
So you can have
all lives matter.
You know what I'm saying?
So you can have 2. But no, you can have 2. You can have 2 succinct conversations happen at the same time. They don't have to be in a vacuum, because the big piece of it is police brutality. That is actually what Officer Chauvin did to George Floyd. That is police brutality. Okay, that is the same thing that happened to that older white gentleman that was in Buffalo, right? So that is all under the thing of police brutality. The second level of that is that the people who are always the brunt of police brutality are minorities.
There you go.
And that's the problem. That is the problem. One thing
I want to
go ahead,
stroll
go
back
ahead, Jay.
real quick. Go back to Bruce was saying. This is why Bruce apologized. He doesn't want what Lawrence Taylor did to Joe Theismann happen to him. Well,
Yep.
for those that are football fans, and you guys know, I can't remember what year it was. It might have been 1984. The New York Giants, Lawrence Taylor, the New York Giants was playing against the Washington Redskins against Joe Theismann. And he was a Redskin at the time. He was quarterback for the Redskins at the time. I think prior to that week, or before the game, he said some very derogatory statements, if I can remember, and for what was reported. Well, Lawrence Taylor, when they played against each other, Lawrence Taylor broke his leg and broke
Hey,
it.
I remember that. Well,
Yeah,
I don't remember
broke.
that, but
Right,
I
right.
know who that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, it was 84. But anyway, Lawrence Taylor, they were playing a game, and I'm assuming the offensive line moved out of the way a little bit, and
Slowly.
Lawrence,
Yep.
yeah, and Lawrence Taylor came in and broke his leg
Lawrence Taylor with
literally
that
on the
earring
field.
right here, right? Like
Yeah,
dude,
right. That's
he
it.
got busted for like prostitutions and stuff later
Yeah,
on.
that's a whole nother stuff. That's a
I'm
whole
just
nother
making
stuff.
sure. No, no, no. I'm just making sure I'm tracking. Okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
it.
watch
That's right.
football again.
Right, right,
Okay.
right, right. So anyway, when I say Lawrence Taylor said, Lawrence Taylor was saying he was going to send a message to Joe Theismann. He sent the message to Joe Theismann by breaking his leg. Lawrence Taylor broke his leg so bad that it snapped on the field.
Stop.
Okay, yeah, it snapped on the field. It scared him so bad that he was signaling all the other players and the doctors to come out on the field because he completely tore this guy's leg up. Completely.
So he
That's the
wasn't put
fear.
out the NFL in charge.
No, he wasn't. No, they didn't put him out because it was a clean hit. He just popped him real good. But that's the fear that Drew Brees better worry about. Because there's some guys that are going to be
Yeah.
hungry. There's some guys that might forgive him. They might halfway forgive him. But there's going to be some guys that say, you know what, we don't want to hear nothing you got to say. And they're going to get you. So, Drew Brees, my suggestion to you, my brother, is to put some
It's
extra
call
toe to
out.
gas. Call out.
Wait a minute. But y'all already said this is not gonna be a super. It's not super. Season this year, so he good.
They still not going. Oh, he's good. Right. That's true. That's true. We're probably not. We're not going to have a season this year. But when we do, hopefully Drew Brees have been retired because they're gonna get it.
Okay.
They gonna
And you
get
know
it.
what's sad is that only because again I always try to fact check the stuff that I read. Drew Brees does a lot of things in the community for minorities and African Americans
Yes,
in
he
New
does.
Orleans.
Yes, he
It's
does.
so weird.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not.
I get it.
It ain't weird.
I was getting ready to tell you,
It ain't weird.
Nitra, it's how can you live in the same body with two brains?
It's not weird.
Okay, I'm listening. Explain why it's not weird.
You ever heard of the step parent syndrome? I like to call it. It's
No.
when daddy is around, or biological daddy is around, or biological mommy is
Oh my
around.
God. Okay.
The step parent is all nice and cheery. They
It
talk to the
it
kids and
just
they
popped
play
in my
to the kids. Okay.
head.
But when
It just popped in
biological
my
parent
head.
is not around,
Oh my
Cruella
God.
DeVille is there
Oh,
with the kids.
okay. Hold
So
on one
no,
second.
it's
Hold
not.
on one second. We have to ask the mental health clinician, EJ. Is that a form of offense for the step parent syndrome?
It hurts. It hurts.
I
I don't know.
can't. I can't.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I
It's a
mean,
good analogy, though.
I'm
It's a
just
good
It
saying.
is.
I'm just
It
saying.
is. Yeah,
I'm
it
just
is.
saying.
It is. Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's the nature of the beast. You
That's
do
the nature
things
of
to
the beast.
get your little plot, and oh, he's such great.
Such a role
You
model.
know. Oh,
Such a
I
role
got a
model.
better one. Django. Remember when Big Daddy was like, I don't know what the little slave girl name was. We just gonna say Miss Sophie. Miss Sophie, take Django out here and walk him. Now, don't forget Miss Sophie. Django not a slave. What the Big Daddy? How you want me to talk to him? The white boy, the pack of wood down down the street. Remember how he was telling her how to treat?
I remember.
Same thing. Same thing. So no, it's not far fetched that he'll do shit in the spotlight. Excuse me, in the spotlight to get kudos, and then have table talk. And when his table talk happened to come out this time, and he got the backlash. But I was trying to find something, and I thought it was interesting when I saw it today. But it's true. It's like, where's the lie?
There's no lie. I can't. Well, that's not no lie either. At least we hope it's not a lie.
He's even telling you to vote for 2020.
I can't even.
Look, you know that was supposed to be in the Bible photo shoot. Somebody is petty.
Right.
Like they petty as shit.
Yeah. There is a I don't know if I shared it with you, Nitra or EJ. I know I shared it with EJ's wife. There is a young lady, I think her name is Tamara something. I apologize. She was out of Minneapolis, and she is an organizer for some organization in Minneapolis. And one of the things that just keeps ringing in my head is that she said, "We got looting from you. We learned looting from you. You came here and stole the native lands. So don't tell us on how we shouldn't be doing something when we learned it exactly from you." And it just sticks. It sticks in my head, and it literally just over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, it is exactly the case. It's how can you, I don't know if you guys were, but I wanted to transition this maybe until that you guys can talk about it. Is that how do you change 400 years of a system that's built for someone to be at the bottom and someone to be at the top?
But here's the thing. I don't know how you change it, but what's sad is that when your pilgrims came over here, they basically came over here for a change, for a positive, better life.
Because they were being persecuted by the Bank of New York, and the Church of England.
You turn around and pretty much do the same thing, or allow, because even if the original pilgrims that came, didn't partake in it, you allowed this barbaric behavior to happen.
Yeah.
And then you brought people over and taught them a system of, you're going to do what I say and how I say it, when I say it, and how many times I say it. And then that's when it just keeps filtering, because nobody is held accountable. And the more you try to break the chain, so y'all gonna probably go off on me about this, but let me just say this. When Kanye West literally said on TMZ that slavery was an option, and everybody had a whole big uprise. Okay, I think, Lawrence, me and you talked about this a little bit. His delivery was all off. However, they did not allow him or give him the chance to articulate what he actually meant. Now, if you think about it, if you literally just take that little sentence and you think about it, it does make sense what he said. Not that we wanted to be slaves, because nobody in their right mind wants to be a slave to anyone. But when you have anywhere between 50 to 200 slaves, that's black people, and you have a slave master, his needy ass wife, let's say he got 2 kids, a foreman, and maybe 2 hands.
Yep.
I know they was not in the mindset to revolt and do a hostile takeover. I understand that completely. But logically, in today's time, you wonder and you wish that our ancestors had the strength to do something like that. And we did have those that did.
I'm going to tell you why.
You had your
very few. And you know what they
True.
did? What they did to them is that they found out when they found the people. I mean, when they caught the people that they caught in the slave return exchange or something like that. I can't think of the name exactly. They killed them. Yeah. And not only did they kill them, they took them back to well, it's more than fear. Fear is you jumping out of the closet and going boo every single time I open up the closet. That's fear. Right. These people, just same way we are today, has been traumatized from generation to generation to generation. Yes. You've seen, your husband boiled in hot, in a hot pot. You've seen your
Yes.
wife get raped over and over again.
And that's why I don't like the term motherfucker. Because they would make the men rape their mothers. And that's how you got the term motherfucker.
Well, I don't know the pedigree of
I
that,
didn't
but
know that
I'm not
either.
gonna,
Yes.
if you say that is, then that's what it is. But
That's what it is. I didn't know that.
But I understand what he was trying to articulate, and I think he wasn't given a chance, and his delivery on how he said it was kind of warped, and it was not good. Then on top of that, he was already with Donald Trump, so they definitely wasn't trying to hear what he
Right.
had to say.
A lot of the stuff with
But
Kanye, he ain't been right since his mother passed away.
he
I
has
said
because he
that.
hasn't
He hasn't
mourned.
been right.
No.
He has not mourned. No.
So a lot of his behavior, and then he admitted to mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health. When he admitted that he was taking some psychotropic medications. He was
Tropic.
going through the psychotropic medication.
Not tropic. Tropic is the beach, and I'm thinking about that right now. As soon as you said it, I was like,
That
damn,
ain't what I'm thinking about right
I was like,
now.
damn, Punta. As soon as he said it, I was like, damn, the beach.
But he was taking medication, psychotropic.
See, you can't even say.
He should have just smoked some weed and called it a damn day.
Right. Exactly. But Kanye doesn't have a support.
No.
He does not have a support. Snoop Dogg was on the Breakfast Club here in New York, and he said that you can tell he doesn't have a supportive wife or some strong women, some strong black women in his circle, because any strong black women in his circle would have been like, "Are you crazy?
Sit your ass down somewhere. Sit your ass down.
Like Afeni Shakur.
What are you doing?
Like Afeni was to Tupac.
Mm-hmm. Sit down. Sit down. They would have said that. Them women would have came in there. Snoop was saying that the women would have had them church hats on, and they'd be like, "Are you crazy, boy? You better shut up and sit down somewhere." Yeah. That's exactly what would have happened. When you look at Kanye West, you look at a guy that's trying to find himself. He's trying to find himself. He is so lost. And then when he remotely tried to find himself, he said, "I'm gonna go to God." So he started going to the church and trying to collaborate with Joel Osteen. Now, some people say it was for record sales. Some people say it was just to get some kind of attention.
I don't think it was for record sales.
I don't think
he was truly lost.
I think he's truly lost. So when we get to African Americans,
now had he said he went to Kenneth Copeland and all of that, no, but
I think
Joel Osteen has a giving heart. I think that.
But he's lost. He's lost.
Kanye is just draining in himself.
He's just lost, and we have not heard not one word from him. Not one word from him since all this jumped off.
No, you haven't, and you know why? Because I wouldn't talk if I was Kanye. You know why?
That's the approach Drew Brees should have took. Certain things you just
exactly.
Well, no, I don't think there's certain things that you have to be quiet to. If there's something that you're passionate about, regardless of whether you're going to lose any money about it or not, which is why I think that he's probably particularly being quiet, because he's an idiot. But
I don't think he's an idiot. I just think he doesn't know how to articulate what he's trying to say.
You talking about Kanye, right? You guys talking about Kanye? No, I think he's just I think he's lost. When I look at Kanye, I
think it all stems from Donna passing, his mom passing.
Yeah, he ain't been right since.
Like nobody. Okay, well, let me just say this, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. That's just like Bobby Christina.
Yeah.
Nobody helped her.
Nobody helped that girl. Nobody helped her.
Nobody. Now, Tyler Perry did try to help her.
He tried. He tried.
But nobody in her immediate circle
helped her.
Held her accountable and helped her. And by the time, from me reading and looking and stuff, by the time her dad did try to get involved, it was too late.
It was too late.
But when you don't have people that can hold you accountable of the shit that you say,
or do,
you become president.
I was about to say people go rogue, but yes,
come on,
you're absolutely.
Give it up for Lawrence Brooks. Give it up for Brooks.
People go rogue, president. and then when you are rogue and you're so far to the left, then people talk about you instead of trying to pull you back into the fold and help you and love on you. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I picked it up and carried it.
But and going back to America, enough is enough. People are just tired. It's 2020 and we're still having a lot of the same issues that we was having when Martin Luther King and Malcolm X
Right.
50 years ago.
was alive. And you need to
I'm
watch
just saying,
who killed
people
Malcolm
talk
X. That's a
about
good
it.
one. Yeah, and
People
it.
talk about it like it was yesterday, but it was literally over 50
Yeah,
years ago. And you could literally take stuff out of that era, place it right now, and it literally would seem like time has not moved.
but you
That's
know who
not
else I'm surprised that they're quiet, and if I
Mm,
like listening to him,
mm,
um, Farrakhan.
mm. Yeah,
If
yeah,
you listen to some of the stuff, and I'm not saying all of it, but if you listen to some of the stuff
yeah.
he says, is very insightful. But he's been
Hmm.
awfully quiet around this time, and I don't know if
I,
it's because he's sick, but why he looks so young too. But
He
he's
does.
been
He looks really young. Yeah.
he's been awfully quiet, and this is the
Yeah.
time that I would have thought that he would have said something.
same thing with Oprah.
Mm.
Oh no,
Same.
no, Oprah is doing something. She's gonna have a Black Lives Matter forum. I saw that the
Okay.
other day.
Okay.
No, it's not okay because Oprah is full of shit too. Her and Gail, they
Well,
both full of
Gail played
shit.
herself. Yeah, yeah.
But
Gail
I
was a
just
puppet.
think that I don't think that your child role model should be a basketball player or football player or any type of celebrity. However, because people hold these celebrities accountable for shit that don't have nothing to do with why they should be a role model. Okay,
But
you
think
should be.
about why they're a role
Hold
model,
on,
though.
hold on. You should be your own child's damn role model. Set the
Oh,
Oh,
that's
example.
true.
You
facts.
should
Yeah,
be your
Facts.
own role model.
that's true.
Facts.
However, I
That's
think
true.
right now
Yeah.
is the perfect time for those to show role model ish type type a stance on,
Tendencies. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, a stance
Stand.
on this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think that your child should.
Well, I never liked rappers or movie stars or anything like that being role models. It gives a false well, not saying that it gives false hope, because apparently in America, if you want to be anything that you want to be, you can achieve it regardless of who you are. We all know, as African Americans and Latino Americans and things of that nature, as a minority, that is not always the case.
Right.
So to your point, the one thing that you could sort of hold yourself into high regard is to have your parents as being your role models. Now, with some of our
Then you gotta have
parents,
good parents.
and therein lies the problem.
You gotta have good
And there
parents.
and therein lies the problem in our community, because it the erosion of our family structure has just been going on for years, for years and years and years as well. So we have so much. I think our generation, the kids, I don't even know what the hell generation is. It makes me sick. I don't know, between 70 and 80. I think our kids, um, because we were sort of brought up in, graduating in the 90s, when the black middle class was strong, things were moving up and things of that nature. A lot of us, are first time going to college, some of us, in that era.
A
So
lot
for a
of us,
lot of,
a lot of people are had babies during that time,
oh,
Yeah.
that, well, at
and
least
we
what
Yes.
I'm
grew
saying
up
is,
with our children.
agreed, but
Agreed.
I don't want us to fixate on that number, because that number was a lot less than it was prior to,
Yeah,
right?
Right. Right.
Then it spiked, and then it spiked again for some
yeah.
reason, teenage pregnancies. But with that, we had a higher percentage of individuals, who were black, who were enrolled into school, into institutions, which is a good thing, which leads you to have those role models like you guys have with your kids, right? And then, with Miss Honey having her grandbaby. So
He coming
so
next week.
so with that, it's the system is so twisted and twisted. If you try to focus on one layer, you're going to go down a road that,
So that
we don't even know how to
so you
drive
just
down.
answered your own question. You remember you asked earlier in the show, how do we change it? And you just legit just answer it. If you do one thing, you got to peel back the onion on so many different layers. You legit just answered that question.
And but
Because
you just have to,
it is so many layers, and some of the layers are deeper
yeah,
than others.
Right.
yeah.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
One thing I will say, I was going to say that I was so, well, it's a, I'm sure there's a term for it, but it's a happy medium or something that's good that came out of something that's tragic. When EJ was saying that he's had an uptick of black males going to counseling, that right there is a huge, 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 huge step,
Yeah.
because that's one road, right, on the many roads of us, of relief. That's one way for us to get the help that we need. I
Right.
remember I was telling my
Oh, sorry.
I like it
um
better
Sorry.
this way anyway.
I remember when I was when I started counseling years and years and years and years ago,
Mhm.
everyone was looking at me like I was crazy, or like, oh, you should just
Mhm.
go to a church and things of that nature. But you know what? What about for those individuals who don't go to church? What about those individuals
Right.
who need that
Right.
additional that
Right.
additional guidance and comfort that can't come out of this oh my God, I'm gonna say something bad again, out of this man-made Bible.
Right.
You need
Right.
something else. Where do those people go?
But
But because again, the groups that we hang out with, man, you going to counseling, man,
of
that's lame,
course.
or
Of course.
whatever.
Of
So
course.
the fact that you're saying that more people are even going to counseling, right?
The biggest
And
plus in the world.
we have more allies now speaking out about the things that are going on right now. This
Mhm.
is the if only the momentum will continue, I would feel better. But
Yes.
maybe I am a optimistic pessimist. I really want to strive for it, but at the same time hasn't passed long enough for me to start, waving the flag and singing kumbaya in the street, because we need to have something sustained in order for things to even level off or improve for us.
But I
Right.
think also, with that being said, and I'm glad that Erskine said a lot of black men are going to
Mhm.
counseling to seek help. Our black men have been, not all, but a large
A good
majority,
majority.
have
Mhm.
been raised that, one, men don't cry. They learn that crap when they're like 2 or 3.
You
What
will
you
get
crying
your ass
for?
beat.
You a punk. You a punk.
That's
You
right.
a sissy. You
Man
shouldn't be
up. Man
crying.
up. You're
You a
not manning
man.
up.
Man up. Don't do
Yeah.
that. They learn that stuff. They learn that
Yeah,
crap, and little
yeah.
girls learn how to take care of babies and cook. Because they have baby dolls. They had the little
I
kitchenette.
ain't never liked baby. Well, go ahead. I'm
Well, I'm
sorry.
just saying, you know,
I got what you're saying.
I
I got
No,
say
no,
what you're
that
I
saying.
totally understand.
because that's how our black men are
Right.
raised. You know
Right.
that
Mm-hmm.
they don't show emotion. So therefore,
Mm-mm.
when you have uh men that's not showing emotion, and I'm not saying I want somebody, or men should be all lovey dovey and girly girly and all of this other stuff. But what I'm saying is, if we had more men that could literally articulate how they feel versus to
Right.
their jobs, on their jobs, to their spouses, to their
Mm-hmm.
partners, you know their
It would change a
minds,
lot.
it
It
would
would change a
change a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Me personally, that's one thing I like. But if I know that you're someone that don't speak on your feelings, I respect that also. But I like I tell my son's 21. And my son, and I say this all the time, my son don't say a lot other than when he's playing his video games. He doesn't say a lot. But when he does talk, I stop everything I'm doing and I listen to my son.
Mm-hmm.
I already know when he becomes an old man, he's gonna be that old man, and they gonna say, "Mr. Powell don't really talk," but when he do say things, it's insightful. All of my friends and people that he just older people, they all say how articulate he is in his speech and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, my son is like my brother. They don't talk about their feelings. Not that my mom ever told them, or my grandmother or grandfather them ever told him not to talk about his
It
feelings.
was probably his community of
But it's the
friends.
community of friends where you
Right.
don't do that
Yeah.
because you're soft if you talk about your feelings.
Right.
My son is the same way. I haven't seen my son cry from when he was a little boy up until 2016 when my granddaughter passed.
Mm.
And he broke down and cried. Okay. It ain't many times that I see him cry. And then there was another time when he came back from the Air Force, he cried because he thought he failed me and his dad. You ain't failed
Mm.
me. You didn't fail me. But I'm so happy, Erskine, that you have a increase of men, especially black men, expressing how they're feeling. And I
Yeah.
also liked your friend Mikey J.
Yeah.
Every time he pop up, I go and see, what he's talking about and everything. And I like him also because he's very insightful also.
Yeah.
But people, men, we need you to talk. We need you to express because a lot of times your expressions comes out in physical forms. Okay? And we need you to verbalize, use your words instead of using force when,
Right.
when you're doing that.
And that's probably the most rewarding thing of being in this line of work, especially at my office. At my office, I am the only African American mental health clinician
Hmm.
in the building, upstairs, as well as at the other office. I'm actually the only African American male
Hmm.
in the building.
Right.
So, and you think about when you're working in the Bronx, you're working in
Wow.
these areas.
Wait,
That's part.
hold on a second. That's a lot.
It
That
is a lot.
that's huge. And did you mention that you had just did 19 or 20 years there?
19 years. Yeah, I just made 19 years this past Wednesday.
Imagine how big that is. That you're probably, and you probably don't even know it, you're probably a role model to someone who sees you every single
Hmm.
day
Yeah.
from the Bronx, and you have no idea, but they see you every day dressed to the nines because everybody see your socks and
And your bow
and your
ties.
bow tie game.
But
Um,
also, but
It's been
also,
on pause for about 3 months now.
but also, Erskine has the gift of the gab too. Like
yeah,
everybody can be his friend.
yeah,
Okay, you can be the bum that whatever nobody wants to talk to. Erskine's gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" I think that's one thing why people gravitate towards Erskine, and I think that's why that career fair is the perfect career fair for him, other than acting.
Thank you.
I just think that that's the perfect thing because I legit can't see him being an IT person.
Mm-mm.
Not
no.
because he have technical
I will
difficulties,
fuck
but
up your
because
computer.
IT people are like accountants. We got one job and one job only. Da 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 da.
And you
You
have to
understand
sit
what I'm saying?
down for long hours
You
of a
got to
time.
sit
And
down,
Right.
right?
he cannot
And
do
he
that.
is a social butterfly.
He cannot do that.
No,
No.
he's a social
No.
butterfly. So I think him, with all of that, that is a good career path for him. I don't know
Yeah.
if he thought about that on his own or somebody said, you know what, you need to go do this. But
Well, you know what? I'm gonna
it
let you guys
was.
in. I'm gonna tell a lot of people ask, especially when I do seminars. It was a huge discussion about it when I was out in LA last year, speaking to LA County Public Schools, and they asked, what made you choose that? The one thing that I always say at the beginning of any presentation, I ask people, what is your definition of therapy? What is your definition of counseling? So many people used to always say that when I go to therapy, I go to counseling, that means I'm crazy. So I cleaned that up immediately because it's been such a stereotype for years and years and years. When you go to therapy, I said therapy is when you go and you sit down and you talk to someone who's going to give a non-judgmental presentation, who is going to help you get through your problem and not look at you with the screw face
Yeah.
when you're telling me your issue. Lawrence and Nietzsche, we all went to high school together. When we was in high school together, people used to always, for whatever reason, say, "Hey man, I got to tell you something, but don't tell nobody."
Yep.
People used to always say that. I got to tell you something, but don't tell nobody. And of course, you didn't tell the person's business because you didn't want to get beat up. That was one. That was,
Hmm.
you know. Well, and then you didn't want to lose the friendship if you said something to somebody about what was said to you from someone else.
Or you probably was
So,
caught in the middle.
oh, you didn't want to get caught
Or
in the
you
middle,
wind
right?
up getting caught up in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when
You
people
be up
ask
at
me,
the
I always
cafeteria with somebody.
right. You don't want to get beat up in the cafeteria. So so I so I took
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry. I had a flashback to the cafeteria days.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I already know where you about to know.
My
Hold up.
bad.
Before shout out to G-Man. But we ain't gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. But anyway. So people would ask me, what made me come into that field. So when I went off to college in Atlanta, um, I was torn between doing therapy and being a physical therapist. I was torn between the two, and at the time, I felt like being a physical therapist. I have to work with people bones and broken bones and all that, and I don't think I really wanted to do that. But then when I took a psychology course and you understand the definition of psychology, the study of the mind and human behavior, I said, this could be interesting. It just caught on
Yeah,
to me. You know what I mean? And it was almost like, when you're dealing with people, you have to have a personality.
you do.
People have to feel comfortable
Yeah, I'm
around
not
you.
a people
You
person.
listen, you could have all the licenses, the certifications, but if you don't have a heart, some kind of compassion, the person sitting on the other side who is already resistant to already being there, they're gonna call you out right on the spot.
And
They're gonna
mind
You,
they could
you're
have, think about it.
absolutely correct.
They could
and
have
that's facts. So,
people.
so, hold on, give me 1 second. Uh, So when people see me doing this work, the rewarding part is that person coming to my office and feeling better when they walk out. When I look in the lobby and I'm the last one to walk out because I got a lobby full of kids in there, it's truly a blessing. It's truly a blessing and it's truly an honor. We've had people call the office and say, I need to talk to the black guy.
Hmm.
My son is a teenage boy. He's 16, 17 years old. I need a black man.
Hmm.
I see he's black. The name sounds black. He's on your list. I need him. And that has happened for years.
Yeah.
And it's a gift. You don't realize what kind of position God gonna put you in until you're actually in that line of duty. For
Right.
years, it was always the ITT, the engineers. Those are the ones that, if you go to college, those are the ones that make the
To make
money.
money.
Make the money. If you look at the state of the world
Hmm.
right now, and it's sad to say that the psychologists, the psychiatrists, the social workers, the caseworkers, the case managers, the ones that were considered to be underpaid for their lines of work,
Oh no, I'm sorry. Change that. The ones that are severely underpaid.
severely underpaid, they're not
Sev-
anymore.
Social workers, wait a minute. Entry level social workers in the city, in New York City, they start them off at $27,000 a year.
Say
Mhm,
what?
27.
mhm, mhm.
That's probably
Entry
why
level.
they have a huge caseload that
That's
never
why
gets.
they have a huge caseload. And I know they have been lobbying. I think it was the previous election from the governor to increase funding for civil services, but they just really haven't. Now, de Blasio did do some things, and he did increase some of the hiring. He had like a
Hmm.
big, huge hiring blitz, maybe a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of years ago, and then he increased the salaries for them to decrease the workload. But I didn't want you to take that into any kind of consideration, Erskine, because
No, no,
it
no, no.
it is something that is so overwhelming
Mhm.
to have those social workers, because they're the ones on the front lines as well, going into
Yeah.
these houses to see
Mhm,
that these kids are
mhm,
abused, and
mhm.
the dad is beating up the mom, or the mom is abusing the kid because of the boyfriend. And
Oh
you
yes.
hear some of these stories in New York City, and it will make you think that you are watching a movie, but it is
Right,
stuff that is happening live to our kids of minority descent, between Latinos and
oh
blacks.
yeah.
Not that they're not happening to
Oh yeah.
Caucasians as well, but they are disproportionately affecting our communities because of all of the other stimuli that's going on around them. And it would be traumatizing to me. I couldn't do what you. I can probably be an IT person, but I could not be someone to go and speak to someone and take on that energy and try to help them try to navigate a regular world, but trying to navigate this world that we're in.
Mhm.
It's insurmountable, the
It's
the amount of work that you guys have to do.
Yeah, yeah, and it says a lot, but a lot of times people just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
They just need someone to talk to. And it's
Someone
not like
that's
a
not gonna go back and tell things to.
there you go. There you go. Strictly confidential, the HIPAA law, all that is in full effect. So
Yeah.
everything that's discussed is strictly under the table. Um, when you're sitting down and you're talking to someone, sometimes they just need to pour it out. That's it. And they just need a listening ear. Just need a
Yeah.
listening ear.
You know
Because
what? Should we add that? Should we add that to the list of another road or another onion peel of how we can change things
mhm,
to go and speak to someone if you're
Yeah.
having
absolutely.
you know
I've always said that. I've always said that. If you have someone to talk to, well, and if you don't have the resources or whatever to talk to, actual professional or whatever, have a close friend. Have a close
That's
friend.
not gonna
Have a
be
close friend
judgmental.
that's not going to be judgmental, because the key word in this whole thing is judgmental
Yeah.
or being judged. That's the whole key with it. A lot of times people don't like to talk to people because they're worried about what somebody's going to say.
Hmm.
How they're going to feel, or is it going to disappoint this person? And that's not what therapy is about. That's not
Right.
what it's about at all. It's about you being able to sit down and talk to someone and express your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and not have to worry about feeling a certain type of way.
Right.
you know,
Right.
you guys have known me since I was 14 years old, both of you. And the unique thing uh, about me, when we was in school, people used to always come to me and say things to me. Not that I was waving a wand or nothing like that, but I didn't want to get beat up. You know
well,
what I'm
I'll
saying?
tell you this, I'm glad they said it to you and not to me. They probably
Yeah,
got cut.
but you know what?
Well, I was
And
the
that's
innocent
true.
one, so
Yeah, you were. Look at
Yeah, you
that.
was innocent one, right? So, so we actually out of time, unfortunately, but
yes,
but
because
but
I was gonna tell you to drop a jewel.
yeah, I'm about to drop a jewel. My jewel will be for the night is everyone stay positive, stay focused, stay determined. We'll get past this, but it's so beautiful to hear us being heard. That's the
Yeah,
most important thing. It is so
from
beautiful to
everybody.
everybody. You are hearing us now, and that's the blessing. So stay positive, stay determined, stay dedicated, stay driven. We are being heard, and
Yeah.
that's my word.
All right, and I guess we're gonna play some illegal music by All right, everybody. We thank you. We appreciate you, Bruce. Thank you for keep checking in with us every Saturday, and we'll see you all next Saturday, same time, same bat channel, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate you. If you see anything or you have any topics that you want us to discuss, we ask that you please send them in to us at unfiltered no chaser at gmail.com. And once again, we love you all and have a good day.